Good evening, viewers. You're welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Just eBay Show. Today, we're going to be interviewing the lead economist at TTAC. TTAC is Time, Trade and Commodities in Africa. He's also the media advisor to the Statistician General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's also the award-winning anchor of a business show on Lagos 93.1 FM. He's also a European Union consultant at EU Sophigo Project. Please help me welcome Tunji Andrews to today's show. Tunji, you're truly welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
We're
me.
very excited to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here, actually.
Before we start, I'd like to say I love your outfit. It's very rare to see guys wear this shade of material. I stand to be corrected.
Why is it rare?
It's always ash, navy blue, maybe white, black, but this particular shade, I don't see it often, but it looks so good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. So today we're going to be talking about 2017, what it holds for the Nigerian economy and how everybody listening today can tap into it, of course, for profit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the first question is, as a financial analyst, what do you think we should expect to experience in this first quarter? As businessmen, as employees, as employers, what should we expect?
Um, I think we should expect the same of same, as it was the last quarter of last year.
2016. Okay.
But what you're going to see that is going to be a little different is that the government is going to be talking a lot.
Okay.
Not that they are going to do anything particularly
Oh,
different,
wow.
but they're going to be talking a lot. So you're going to be hearing the president being a bit bullish about some things. You're going to be hearing the Minister of Finance cause being bullish about a few things. I expect them to go on a few road shows, but I expect also that because if you look at the projections, you can tell that a lot of those things um, would need the grace of God to actually come
I
true.
like that, the grace of God. Okay, so
So,
you're saying, sorry to cut you, you're saying that to a very large extent, we do not have control over what is going to happen in the next 3 months.
oh yes, I mean, if you look at the 2017 budget, it almost feels like we thought we were in control of a lot of things, and I'll explain the factors that are out of our control. One, crude oil prices, which is a global issue. It has nothing absolutely nothing to do with us. We're part of OPEC, which is just 33% of the entire global market.
True.
So even if OPEC decides to cut production, which they have to a little extent, you still need people like Russia to cut, which is not part of OPEC, to cut their crude oil productions to the world. So also, we expect that the Niger Delta militants are not going to blow up anything this year, which I don't, which is completely out of our control, right? Even
Okay,
if we
true.
give them money, there
Yeah.
might be a new splinter group. I'm not saying I want it to happen, but I'm just saying one of the things we tend to do as analysts is you tend to look at the worst case scenario,
Okay.
the best case scenario, and kind of come into the middle
Okay.
to with checking all the pros and cons and saying, okay, if we believe that even if there's one or two explosions, we can still do this.
Okay.
You know,
There was something you said particularly that piqued my interest. You said the government is going to be talking a lot.
yeah.
What effect will this talking a lot have on employees, employers, and businesses? I keep mentioning employees, employers, and businesses because this forms the major, what's the word? The major statistics of the Nigerian economy.
Well, it's not going to have any effect because they're not even talking for you. They're talking because the government has a huge deficit that it wants to fill in its 2017 budget. So it's looking to borrow a lot of money. And so
Okay.
they're looking to speak to foreign aids and foreign organizations to borrow money. So the talking is not going to be because of you. They're
Okay.
talking because they want foreign investors,
Okay. Okay.
global banks, maybe the IMF, the African Development Bank, to hear the right rhetoric. So they're going to be talking a lot, but I don't think the talking is going to work because okay, let's leave that. But let's focus on jobs. The unemployment situation in Nigeria is at a massively high level. It's been the highest I think ever.
Jobs
basically.
are still being lost on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the problem here is the fact that we have now a very large population. So we have a large population of young people who are out of work.
True.
Idle minds, idle hands. That is a keg of gunpowder that we're basically sitting on. So if you look at issues like militancy, insecurity, kidnapping, which are basic issues in terms of insecurity, it stems from unemployment.
Mm.
And that is a major concern for me. But yes, if we're going to see more job losses in 2017, first quarter, I can assure you to that we're going to see more job losses.
It's happening anyway. Yeah, it's already happening. A lot of organizations are still laying off
Yep.
every day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The next thing we're going to be asking is, do you think that there are regulatory policies that the government put in place that led to our country going into recession? If yes, what sort of amendments do you think we can apply, just so we can, I don't know, stabilize or get out of it?
Um, okay.
You're trying to be, you're trying. You see, the truth of the matter is, we need Nigerians talk about all these things a lot. A lot of people make certain insinuations. If he hadn't put ban on importations, if the dollar rate hasn't gone high, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. We just need to clarify the air. Are there policies that aided this?
Yes. Bans, for instance. There's an economics to banning things.
Okay.
If you ban air,
Air.
air that we breathe,
Okay.
if you ban air
Yes.
and it is not in adequate supply,
Yeah.
you immediately create a black market. You don't have to do anything else. You
Okay.
immediately create a
The
black
black market.
market.
Mm.
Now, there was a time in Kenya where there was a water shortage, and the Kenyan government had to regulate the use of water up to the extent that it even banned the collection of rainwater. So it
Mm.
was illegal to collect rainwater at sometime in Kenya. I think that was a couple of years ago. Now, what it did was that it just created people who saw they could profit from water, and it created a black market. So if you wanted water, you just go to the black market and get water. So what we're seeing in Nigeria is that you ban importation of cars into Nigeria, you've created a new black market. You've banned the importation of rice into Nigeria, you've created a new black market. You've banned the sale of dollars. So you've
Because
created
people would
several
actually
black
survive.
markets.
Yes.
So it's not generally because demand and supply are two very strong factors. If you have more supply than demand, it's okay. At least okay for you as a regulator.
True.
But if you have more demand than you
Less
have
supply.
supply, if you do not meet that demand, factors will create the need for you to meet that demand. Because if I think, for instance, if I go to Cotonou or Cotonou, and I smuggle rice in a bag of rice. Maybe I buy it there for 10,000 naira. And if I believe that with all the hassles and bustles and
And bring it in.
paying people, I pay another 10,000 naira on it, and I can still come into Nigeria and sell it for 25, 27,000 naira.
Good
That makes
business.
sense.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
I mean, I've just basically explained the principle of black
Black
market to you.
marketing.
So that is, in a nutshell, what we did with all our policies since the inception of this government is we did not think about the human factor to reacting to everything we did.
Do you think they had power over these things? Because seriously, I like to be very fair and I like to weigh both sides of the coin. It's okay as the receiver of the effect of those policies. But what about the policymakers? Do you think it was something they had power over? Seriously.
Um, Here's the thing with policy making. You consult widely before
Okay.
you make a policy. So
Policy.
you
True.
have experts sit down and they tell you the pros and cons to making any
Is
decision
that
at all.
what goes on in the Nigerian economy or in the Nigerian policy department, policy making department? Is it not just
Yes.
somebody says go do
No,
this
no,
and
no,
it's
no.
done?
I agree. To a large extent, this happens.
Okay.
The unfortunate thing, however, is the people they call.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was opportune to maybe I won't get called again after this, after I say this. But yeah, I was really pissed at the last one. Um, yeah, there was a document that was supposed to be it's supposed to be released sometime soon, and it was put together sometime in November, and we're all called to Abuja to sit down and talk about it. And I was pretty upset because what I was hearing in the room was a lot of wishful thinking from renowned experts, people that you hear their names on TV, that are on TV like every 2 months, and they were giving all sorts of weird solutions to Nigeria's problems that you just realize why we're here in the first place. Because these people were the same experts that advised Obasanjo. They were the
Okay.
same experts that advised Yaradua. They were the same experts that advised Goodluck Jonathan. They are still advising this president right now.
Yeah.
So you see that it's the same level of thinking.
Wow.
I I know that they consult, but I think even if you do consult, to a large extent, you need to also hire the right kind of people to be around you that can second guess that the documents that those people bring forward. Because at the end of the day, the bulk stops at you.
True.
Nobody knows the people that were at the background of
Yeah.
creating the policy.
You are the face behind the
Exactly.
policy.
So
Okay.
if the CBNFX policy is failing, nobody knows the people that sat down to
True.
create it. Everybody knows the CBN governor, Godwin MFLA, and the bulk stops at his table. It's failing, it's
It's
Godwin's
him.
fault.
Oh wow. I wish there was something we could tell them as guide to actually recruiting the correct people or the right people that make
Okay,
these
I'll tell you.
policies.
I'll tell you what it is. I
Okay.
saw it at this last meeting, and it's not too far fetched. When 2016,
2017, right
oh,
now.
2017, sorry, my mind is still. When 2017, right? Um, when a lot of our laws were created, there was no Facebook,
True.
there was no Twitter,
True.
um, there was no FaceTime, there was none of those things. There was no app, there was no internet banking. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying we have obsolete laws,
Hmm.
and the people who are trying to create the laws and the policies for 2017 are also obsolete. How many of them understand the feedback of a policy statement on Twitter? I'm not saying that
I
a
get you.
policy statement on Twitter really does so much, because a lot of people feel it's hot hair, and a
Yeah.
lot of people saying stuff.
Yeah.
But it goes a little way to explain the reaction of 2017 as against the reaction of 1984.
Okay. Okay.
In 1984, when I can remember the coups of was it 1985 or so? I can't really remember now. And all you needed to do to take over the country was to hold NTA and hold Radio Nigeria.
Okay.
Once you broadcasted through those mediums,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
head of state. Right now, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
those laws were created for that time. Now, if you come out with a policy statement and it comes out on Twitter, the normal thing that will happen is that experts around that field would go and look at it and come out and explain the pros and cons. And naturally, they will emphasize the cons to the people. So you've already failed without starting the policy. And a lot of the time, what you need with policy is the buy-in of the people.
True.
Because sometimes the policy may be faulty, but the goodwill of the people will back it up to make it work.
Yeah. I believe that
But
100%.
once you failed with the buy-in of the people, once they already see it as a failure from day one,
They just do not want to support it. They just do not
exactly.
want to see anything
So
in
it's
it.
it's it's already dead on arrival.